Channel 5's film premiere tonight is Natural Born Killers, a violent and disturbing depiction of two serial killers. The movie, made in protest against the American media's obsession with crime and murder, is introduced now by Mariella Frostrup, talking to Oliver Stone, the film's director.
Hi, I'm Mariella Frostrup. In a moment, the UK TV premiere of Natural Born Killers. But first, I'm here in Dallas with the director, Oliver Stone, who's kindly agreed to answer a few questions. Oliver, thank you very much for letting me be here today. Now, Natural Born Killers met with a storm of controversy when it was first released, and it hasn't really abated yet. What was it about the story that appealed to you?
When I made the movie in 1992, it was a time when the American landscape was littered with sensationalism. The television industry was making a fortune off the crimes of the Menendez brothers and O.J. Simpson and Loretta Bobbitt and Joey Buttafuoco and the two ice skaters who pushed each other. There was a continuing sort of string of meaningless crimes that had captured the popular attention because why? Mostly because the networks had sort of shoved it in front of them and kept on repeating it until it became a mantra in their minds. And it became the news for profit. It was a strange culture, one given to the celebration of aggressiveness in all its forms, not just murder, selling, ratings points, competitiveness. It was the fashion. It was the fashion. It still is. But more so, I think, in the early 90s. So I think I vomited up what I saw. And I think I did it in film form, with the film sort of aping the landscape that I saw, like a mirror, an outsized, grotesque, funhouse mirror, exaggerated.
What a lot of people found unacceptable was that Mickey and Mallory, your leading protagonists, escaped justice. Did that concern you?
Well, don't give away the ending, but it certainly, to me, paralleled the concept of the 90s, where things were changing, values were shifting, were becoming more and more superficial, and that people, it doesn't matter. There's no morality involved. There's no, you got to get the criminals in the end. That might be true for Bonnie and Clyde days, or in the 60s and the 70s, but now it's all jello, and anyone gets away with it. As the Menendez brothers did, O.J. did, and so forth and so on. Everyone gets away with it. That's the 90s. I can only reflect it. That's all that the movie intended to do. It was a painting of that time. Don't include me in the frame. I'm just a signature on the back. In other words, you will look back on the film now, 1997, which is 4 or 5 years later. You can look back at it in 2050 or 2030 and just look at the painting of that time, and it's grotesque. Like Graz was grotesque, or like your Hogarth. Hogarth was all those ugly faces, drunk. That was a very satiric picture. Swift was satiric, and very cold and misanthropic about it, too. That's the nature of satire. So there's love in the movie, but it's the Mickey and Mallory love affair, which some people can't stand and some people love, but it's about a very misanthropic picture of America, with the prison system, the law system, and the media system being more oppressive than any murderer could be.
How concerned were you about the alleged series of copycat murders?
The alleged is correct terminology, because no proof was ever had of a connection. And even if there had been proof, I don't think that any psychologist of value in the land would say that anyone killed anybody as a result of coming out of a movie, any more than you would coming out of a McDonald's and eating a bad hamburger and shooting down 14 people and saying it was because a McDonald's hamburger made me do it. No, the condition was a pre-existing condition. It was a psychotic one. There was, in all the cases in this Natural Born Killers, all the kids involved had juvenile problems. Drugs, often involving drugs and violence, bad parenting or alcohol. There was always a psychotic condition way before the movie existed. So if we start to get into this area of looking to put blame on movies, it will be the beginning of product liability suits. We would be suing Picasso truly for fracturing your mind, or Beethoven for irritating you, or you could take it down to its infinitesimal level. Every art form, every idea would have a product liability. That was not the intention of Natural Born Killers. The intention was to float an idea, was to float a portrait of a country in pain.
Thank you very much, Oliver Stone.
Thank you.
You can see a fuller version of that interview in Brunch at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, Natural Born Killers, which 5 has classified as an A for adult. This film contains strong language and images of violence and murder from the outset, which some viewers may find upsetting or offensive.